Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network. And welcome back, everybody. It's a word that comes up from time to time, and it occasionally trends. And it makes you wonder if you're dealing with somebody like this or have in your life. And I'm talking about a narcissist. It's an easy word to throw around, but how does it or does it apply to you? And what do you do in that situation? Maybe you are one. Maybe you don't even know that you are one. We are going to talk about that today with somebody who offers holistic, integrative mental health and psychiatric services to everybody of all different ages, couples, individuals. Dr. Elena Gherman is back with us. How are you doing today?
Great, Steve. Thank you for having me again.
Yeah, it's good to have you back here. This is a word that I somewhat struggle with, wondering what the behaviors of a narcissist are. We kind of have an idea, many of us, but I wonder if that's the right idea. Can you kind of give us the behavioral makeup of what a narcissist is?
Yes. And I don't mean to ignore your specific questions right now, but I just kind of want to say why I chose this subject.
Sure.
Okay, today. Because once again, I want to come to be of assistance rather to all my patients, to all the people that reach out to me. Because sometimes, I have people reaching out to me that are not necessarily patients. When they are wondering, even friends or family or so, and they ask me like, should I stay in this relationship? Should I leave? Is he a good guy or woman in my life? Is this true love? And here I am being, put in a position to where almost it feels like they're asking me to help them make a decision about a relationship. And I just want to approach it from that perspective, because a narcissist in a relationship, whether it's you, the way you put it, or is your partner, it's a very damaging thing. It's not to say that it is a diagnosis, right, in the DSM-5, and it is somewhat of a treatable condition, even though you need years of therapy, if not, anything else. But in general, dealing with somebody that is a narcissist per se can be extremely dangerous and damaging. Okay, not just to you per se, but to the whole family, to the whole, if you look at it as a whole. Like my practice is a holistic approach, is a concierge approach. So that's how we focus on, right? Like what's the bad seed in there? So, and people tend to come to me or come to us, when they're at the end of their relationship, when everything gets good or when they struggle, they go back and forth. They do their best. But when they're at the end of the relationship, they come in and they ask the question. Something like a little voice in their head is telling them, like, hey, maybe it's not just me, right? And then I would say to them, to some of them are not even willing to accept the truth. That person that you see at the end of the relationship, that is probably the person that you've never known, that you've never met. That is when usually they show their true skin. Okay. So if they turn out and they hurt you, destroy everything, they want to just erase you from their memory, or, there are all kind of cases out there. That is the true person, and on the opposite side, when you have somebody that just walks away and that just moves on and say, okay, well, I accept it. That is more of a normalizing behavior, a normal person. So I want you to see the cancer almost in this personality, right? That I wanted to say, people that are like vengeful and, I'm going to do this and do that and destroy this and destroy that. That doesn't smell right. Okay. And I also would like to say to some of those patients that are able to hear the truth, is like, you didn't lose the love of your life, Like, stop perseverating on this. They were just a parasite in there. They were just like rotting you from inside. They were draining the life out of you. Okay, because really going back to your question, what is narcissistic behavior? Okay, what do they do? Well, they try to hide their true actions, their true feelings, if they have any. Most of the time, narcissists, they don't even have feelings. They're just like these robots walking around behind this facade of charm, of charisma, of manipulation. Try to get to you, try to take a bite of your soul. And they lure you into these false promises or fake emotions, on these convincing acts, or whatever fantasy land they promise you, when it's actually just a movie they make. And you are just part of that movie, but underneath all that, what they really do, it's almost like, remember we talked about energy vampires in one of our previous shows?
Sure.
It's almost like that, they feed off your emotional energy. They take away big bites, big chunks of your self-worth or your self-confidence. They're eroding your sense of self. They're pretty much feeding off of you. They're taking away your livelihood, your happiness, everything that you are, everything that you know. Now they think like, oh, you belong to me. Now everything else about you belongs to me. And we're not talking about materialistic stuff. We're not talking about money. We're not talking about your apartment or whatever you're willing to give because you're in love with this person. But we're talking about your well-being, your restful state, if I can say, when you just sit with yourself. Yes.
Wow.
Exactly. So what do? They gaslight, they emotionally blackmail you. They constantly criticize you for nonsense things, right? If I can't even begin to tell you the reasons that I hear in my sessions. I'm like, oh my God, I should probably keep a list because I haven't heard this one. But there were no signs of affection. It just seems like it's this like only take. There's no give, right? And if you feel like you're falling for this person, you keep giving, give, right? So is this one-way street of emotions? And that's where they live off, because they need to control you. They need to control the situation. They need to dominate. And they turn all that into a submissive idea, right? Like, oh, now I got her. Now she's going to do whatever. Or him too. Oh, there are women that are, I sometimes say women can be worse narcissists than men, because women seems to know exactly what to do. And they use that towards infidelity, towards deceit, lying, lack of empathy, or whatever they need it for. But they do it deliberately. That's the difference of a narcissist. They do it deliberately because they feel your vulnerability. They feel your vulnerability. Sorry. They feel the weakness in you because you give. You're always nice.
How do they select their prey? Is it somebody who they realize that, oh, this one, she or he, a little more vulnerable. Yeah, okay. That's where I'm going for it.
Right. Well, so it's really the nature of the animal instinct, right? It's like you smell around, you see what works, and whether you take the bite in the right place, whether it's going to work or not. Because if it's somebody like them, or has some narcissistic traits. That's why in psychiatry, we don't always jump to diagnosing somebody with narcissistic personality disorder, because you have people that have just some traits. You don't necessarily have to have a full-blown disorder. So if they feel somebody that's like them, then they it's like a magnet, repels, right? So they just sniff around until they find the right person where whatever they have planned works. Okay. And but one thing is, it has to be really important and to clarify and to try to dissociate in this, at least understanding when we talk about this is not love. Just having all the time give Okay. And the other person just take without that reciprocal emotions. Like we talked last week, right? About love has to be two ways. Love has to be 100%. Love has to be a give and take from both sides. But if it's just one way street, then this is not love.
Yeah.
This is a toxic cycle that keeps going and going and going. And this is abuse. People don't call this abuse for some reason. We tend to call abuse if it's physical, right? If it's actually hitting or bruising or this, but verbal abuse, emotional abuse, psychological abuse, it's extremely common. And that's what people need to try to survive this and battle their way out and get out of it and say, enough. I just want to step away. Because a narcissist is not I'm sorry.
How does somebody know that they are one? Will they ever admit it?
No,
right?
No, that's the thing, because they will admit to like, oh, I need you, I love you, right? And this and that, because they are very smitten with their words. They know exactly what to say. They know exactly what to use. And that is really, that is true to them. Like they don't have the concept, like I'm fooling this person in purpose, right? They to them, this is, this is how life is supposed to be. And everybody's supposed to be submissive to me. And everybody's supposed to please me and feed all my needs and take care of me and this and that, without thinking of like, hey, they have needs too. They're human beings. So when it's that one way, that is kind of how you can tell, like, it's not right. And I have some people that say, I feel like I'm addicted to this person and I can let go and I can this, I can that. And they need me and they try to find excuses. Those are nothing but excuses, because they feel like, oh, we have this connection or karmic connection or something. Something we spoke about again in one of our previous podcasts. But soulmates are not, narcissists are not your soulmates. They are not. They're just predators. That is really the best word to use. And understanding that, hey, this is cancer literally for your psyche. Understanding that is the beginning of your healing.
It's just
there is healing.
It's hard to fathom somebody living their life like that, where they're not even being true. Like, why? It's almost as if they're living a fantasy.
Right, exactly. They are in a fantasy land, and to them everything is true. To them everything it's right. There's nothing wrong, but the other person, it's suffering greatly. Greatly. And unless they try to find a way to heal and accept that, hey, this is the truth, this person does not love me. They just say they need me so I can be there emotionally available for them all the time. Okay. So understanding, like, this is not love. You're just used for whatever reason. They take advantage of you. You are just a means to the end, to do whatever their needs are at that moment in their life. Some people can be early on, and I just had a recent patient, and we were discussing about going through college, and this came up, going through college and feeling like, oh, this narcissistic partner was somewhat taking advantage of the other person just so they can finish school. And that is one example on early age, right? But this knows no boundaries, knows no age. And I heard it in their 40s, in their 50s, even in their 70s. And people consider separating now and consider moving on, but they say, well, it's too late. We've been married for 30 years now. What's the point, right? Because when they grow into that environment where they feel like, oh, this is normal. This is my life. Yeah. This is my luck.
This is the adapt. This is the way it is. So let's look at, you're in a relationship with one. It's my understanding the best way to handle a narcissist is by facts. It's all fact based. If you're going to say anything, it has to be a fact. What are your thoughts?
It is, but that usually brings about argument, disagreements, fights, no, anything of that sort. So if you really want to try to help them, I say bring the facts, but also bring them into therapy.
Oh, well, of course.
Because many times you won't win that argument, right? Because it's very simple for them. Oh, you've done this for so long. What changed now? What's wrong with you? Or they turn it around and blame it somebody else, or blame it the therapist. Oh, the therapist is putting things in your head now. So, or your mother is telling you this and that. Or you see, like,
Yeah.
They always have an answer. They always have an excuse and an explanation. So if you're ready to help them, right, then get your facts together and bring them in. So you can have a third party that can help you, that can try to get in there and help out, because they can be helped. It takes long term therapy, very, very intensive therapy. But also the victims, if we can call them like that way, the partner on the other side, they can heal if they start, first of all, to accept and to understand, like, this is not how love is supposed to be. And if they have something to compare it with, right, then they can say, well, yeah, I know love can be something else. But it's even worse when they don't know any difference, when they don't know what love really can be, when they have no idea. So they wake up like after 30 years of marriage, 25 years of marriage, it was like, well, I don't know any better. How do I know that the next guy I bump into is not the same?
Somebody damaged somebody else. Somebody who's a narcissist, they're damaging their partner. We've said before that many things that we deal with come from our childhood, traumas, things. What makes a narcissist? Where does that begin?
So the narcissistic traits, they said that they actually begin way early in infancy. And it's related to neglect. It's related to neglect from the mother. So, or the primary caretaker. So that's one of the stages where, the child needs attention. The child needs to be cared for. The child needs the interaction. And then as they grow, as then they adapt, the toddler age, when they try to experience and experiment their environment, they need that reassurance that when I come back, somebody's going to be there for me. Somebody's going to protect me. Somebody's going to love me. If you imagine a 1.5-year-old or 2-year-old, when they barely start walking, right? If they fall, they hurt themselves and they turn around and there is nobody there, they're going to start to panic, right? So they develop it slowly into the sense either it goes towards a dependent personality disorder later on in life, because they feel like I need somebody there all the time, okay? Or they go totally towards a narcissistic, to where almost like their emotional state gets wiped off. So it's ingrained into it comes from there. And then, of course, it can later on be also modeled through experience. Like, I say it way too often that kids do what they see. So if they see a similar relationship in their parents, that's how they grow to say, oh, I want to be like that because that is always tough. That is always like having control and puts mom down or whatever it is. And they have a base to go to. Or with a mom can be the same way, right? Mom is always taking care of everything, but even when dad gets home, she's always after him. He's no good of nothing. So you see, you can see really that personality traits, they can differ from gender to gender, and the kids notice that. The kids can see that.
So you mentioned that a narcissist could be born out of neglect, right? Would that person also have abandonment issues as well?
Yes. Yes, because now, and that goes more towards the dependent personality disorders, those dependent people that really cling on to people, and they feel like that's more, I would say, the partner of a narcissist. See, which once they cling on to somebody, they're like, I'm not gonna let go no matter what. This is my love. This has to work. This has to happen. So that is kind of the opposite, where they don't see straight in their face. They don't see between the lines that, this is gaslighting. This is blackmail. I should not be blamed for, not brushing my hair the right way. Or, nonsense things that the normal person were like, well, this is not okay. So that those people usually with more of a dependent type of personality, they suffer more of an abandonment issue. Like, don't leave me because I cannot find anybody else after you. Don't leave me. I cannot live without you.
It seems reasonable that the narcissist will do whatever they can to squash the other person down, to make them feel defeated. Like you said, why do you do your hair like that? Can't you clean up? So that it defeats the other person, so that the narcissist can jump on top, so to speak.
Right. And they just hover over them and then I got you now. I can control you. Exactly. Right? I can manipulate you the way I want. And I'm going to be nice to you when I need something from you. But the rest is like, you are just my puppet. My servant.
Yeah. Puppet on a string. Wow. Amazing.
Right.
Just about out of time. Eye-opener today.
So I just wanted to say to those people that may hear this and they feel like they are in a narcissistic relationship like this with somebody, just know that there are healthy relationships out there. Just try to believe that. Try to go to therapy, get help, seek help, because you are worthy of being heard, being loved, being touched, being respected. You need to believe that. And that's where it starts. Believe it, understand this is not the norm, okay? And just try to get out, okay? Because you will never fix a narcissist on your own. The best way is to just go the other way. And you are worthy of love, just expect it, but get it when you least expect it. It will come.
And it's not you.
It's not you. No.
How do we connect with you if somebody's dealing with any kind of challenges like this?
So our website, fullmoonbehavioral.com, it's really the best way, the easiest way, and you can see all the things that we're doing there. And definitely we can reach out through video all over the world, really.
Thank you, Elena, for everything today. Eye-opener. Heard the term, had an idea of what it meant, but really realizing where the narcissist is born, never knew that. So very interesting. Thank you so much for today.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thanks. We'll be right back. Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
Of course my kid's in the right car seat. Well, I think he is.
Yeah, my kid's in a booster seat. He was ready to move up. He is ready, right?
Her car seat looks like the right size.
There are probably rules on when to move up to a booster seat, aren't there?
Rear facing, forward facing. I think I have it right.
Car crashes are a leading killer of children 1 to 13. Are your children in the right car seat for their age and size? Don't think you know you know. Go to safercar.gov/the right seat.
I know my child's in the right car seat, or else I wouldn't get in the driver's seat.
Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.